Welcome everyone to the Season 2 finale of 3 Wide, where today we will be going over the 2023 season. We will discuss who came away with the championship in their series. Also, we will take a look at which drivers seem to be on the rise, as well as the ones who struggled throughout this season. And I will give out grades on the drivers who were competing with new teams this year. But before we get started on that, let me tell you about our presenting sponsor. With NASCAR season now over and Christmas season officially kicking off, I want to take a minute to tell you about our sponsor, Hunt to Harvest. Hunt to Harvest is a brand created to protect the hunt and to get back to the basics and the real reason for the hunt. A brand that supports the harvesting of the animal instead of just focusing on the trophy. To Hunt to Harvest, hunting is all about spending time with loved ones, providing for your family through the harvest, and giving thanks to the one who created all things big and small. And you too can support this great mission and company by going to hunttoharvest.com and updating or upgrading your hunting apparel. Their Black Friday sale has already started, and you can save big on their new fall collection where they have several new shirt designs in both short sleeve and long sleeve. These shirts are also made out of 100% Peruvian cotton and true to size after one wash. They also have new rope hats in, but they are going quick, so you better get your order in ASAP. You can also find stocking stuffers such as koozies, car tags, as well as decals. So head on over to hunttoharvest.com, and when you go to checkout, be sure to use that promo code RADNEY18923. That's RADNEY 18923 for even more savings. And I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Harvest. So starting out by taking a look at championship weekend at Phoenix, Ford swept the weekend with Ben Rhodes getting his second career Craftsman Truck Series championship, Cole Custer getting his first career Xfinity title, and Ryan Blaney getting his first career Cup championship. And this year's champions, they are really the perfect representatives of the playoff era. These three drivers were not the best in their series, at least on a consistent basis, but they worked the system, they survived, and they rose to the occasion when it mattered. For example, Ben Rhodes winning the truck title. Ben Rhodes is a talented driver. He's a former champion. However, this season, he really shouldn't have even sniffed the championship. But he got in thanks to the strategy call of the year by his crew chief, Rich Lushes, at Homestead. Add that up with avoiding the chaos at the end of the truck race with the multiple overtime restarts, as well as Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar, two fellow championship Ford drivers mixing it up. Surviving all that led to him winning his second Truck Series championship. For my full feelings on that truck race and the deal between Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar, I go in depth on it on my latest YouTube video. You can check that out on my YouTube channel. And then there's Cole Custer. He was deserving of his spot in the championship four, but of the four drivers in it, I really didn't think he would be able to keep up with Justin Allgaier, who is so good at Phoenix, or John Hunter Nemechek, who has shown just week in and week out top speed. But Custer was able, like I said, able to rise to the occasion. He had to survive a late restart. He was able to fight them off and earned his first career championship. There's no doubt about it. It's not like it was a fluke championship winner. He just lucked into it. And really the Xfinity Series race and the ending, the way they all handled themselves, definitely was something that those Truck Series drivers needed to be paying attention to. Now, as for Ryan Blaney, he simply got hot at the right time. In the first four playoff races, he was less than impressive. He only had one top 10 and two finishes below 20th. But then they go to Talladega, one of his strongest tracks, and he goes out and wins. From there, in the next five playoff races, the final five playoff races, he ends up with three top fives, four top 10s, and one at Martinsville. In the championship race, he finished second to Ross Chastain and finished ahead of fellow competitors Kyle Larson and William Byron. Now, Christopher Bell, he crashed out early, so we really didn't get a chance to see if Bell would be a factor in it at all. But out of all that, Ryan Blaney gets his first career championship and gives Roger Penske back-to-back Cup Series titles. Now, taking a look at some drivers who may not have won the championship in 2023, they at least leave this season with some momentum and as some drivers that you need to keep an eye on going into 2024. And starting out in the Craftsman Truck Series, it's got to be Christian Eckes. He was in his first full-time season with BMR, a team who had yet to win in the Truck Series with Derek Kraus. And Christian Eckes goes out there and gets 4 wins, including the season finale. And I believe that Eckes caught a lot of attention and will be a name to watch over the next couple seasons as someone who could be the next big prospect. He will be back with BMR in 2024, and he has some unfinished business, especially at the Fall Bristol race, where he had the dominant truck. and looked to be well on his way to a championship 4 appearance. He ultimately lost the lead with 6 laps to go in that race to Corey Heim, and that was the difference in him being a champion because, like I said, he goes out there and wins the season finale at Phoenix, and that's probably a very bitter win for Eckes. You know, I'm sure a driver's never going to turn down a victory, but I know in the back of his mind had to be how close he was to not only hoisting up the race-winning trophy, but he could have been hoisting up the championship trophy as well. Then in the Xfinity Series, we have Sam Mayer. Then in the Xfinity Series, we have Sam Mayer, who was in his second full-time season. He goes out and gets 4 wins in the final 14 races of the season and finishes 3rd in the standings. For some reason, some were saying that Sam was on the hot seat, which never seemed to make sense to me. Sam is just 20 years old. He has shown a lot of potential and has solid sponsorship behind him, all things needed to keep your ride. He does need to be more consistent in 2024. He crashed out in 4 of the last 8 races, but he showed just what he's capable of, and if he can rein himself in and be more consistent, he will be a championship threat in 2024. For the Cup Series, there's 2 drivers that I'm putting on. I believe these 2 drivers really took their career to the next level, and that is William Byron and Chris Buescher. For William Byron, he was able to have a more complete season than he has before. He did go through some slumps, but was always able to bounce back pretty quick, especially compared to previous seasons. He had 6 wins, which is more than his first 5 seasons combined, career highs in top 5s, top 10s, laps led, and average finish. With the year that Byron had, I expect him to become a permanent fixture in the Cup Series championship picture. And for Chris Buescher, it was a career-making year for him, and it was a great turnaround for RFK Racing as a whole. Buescher was his usual consistent self, but with a tick up in where he was in the finishing order. He scored 3 wins, including back-to-back races at Richmond and Michigan, and like William Byron, he had career highs in top 5s, top 10s, laps led, and his average finish, which was up an incredible 6 spots from last season. Brad Keselowski has made huge strides in his short time as owner at RFK, and it's paying big dividends for Chris Buescher. Now the question is, can they continue to climb up the food chain in 2024? And naturally, while we have drivers who rise, there's always going to be drivers who seem to fall off and just have disappointing seasons. And these 3 drivers, they really struggled throughout 2023. And starting with the Truck Series, it's Hailie Deegan. She joined a championship-winning team and simply fell flat. She only scored 2 top 10s throughout the year. Her average finish stayed about the same where it has been. And while she's leaving the Truck Series, she never seemed comfortable in this series. I do believe she still has a bright future, and I'm interested to see how she does next year with AM Racing in the Xfinity Series. I've said it many times. I feel like the Xfinity Series will lend itself better to Hailie Deegan and her driving style. We've seen it with Derek Kraus and his starts with Kaulig Racing this year. And I think Hailie Deegan, the same can happen with her. It's obviously going to be more of a learning curve. This is her first full-time jump up there. She's only got 1 start in the Xfinity Series, but the potential is there that she can go out and have a pretty surprising rookie year. And for the Xfinity Series, I'm going with Brandon Jones. He moves from one winning organization to another, from Joe Gibbs Racing to Junior Motorsports, and has his worst season since 2018. His average finish dropped 4 spots from last season. He did seem to start to get in the groove over the last 8 races, but he is going to have to come out swinging in 2024 to keep himself off the hot seat. And for the Cup Series, I'm going with Austin Cindric. The sophomore slump lives on. His average finish dropped 5 spots from last year. He finished 12th in the standings last season. This year, he finishes in 24th. He just couldn't seem to get it going. I don't think it's time to panic yet when it comes to Austin Cindric. You've seen over his career how he improves year in and year out, and it is possible his Daytona 500 win last season set up too high of expectations. Both of his teammates now are champions these past 2 years. Cindric is going to be eager to go out and prove his worth next season. And before we close out the year, I wanted to take a look at the drivers who had signed on for new teams in 2023. Last year's silly season drivers, how did they perform in their first year with their new teams? And starting out in the Cup Series, you have Kyle Busch. And I'm giving Kyle a B simply because there was no consistency. Results were all over the place, but he did get 3 wins. He looked very strong on super speedways, and he went out and he showed that Kyle Busch is still Kyle Busch, and he can go out and get it done with any team, much like his brother Kurt. Then we have AJ Allmendinger. I'm giving AJ a C. His win at the Roval saves this from being a D. All the preseason hype of him at road courses and getting in the playoffs just never seemed to materialize. Then we have Ty Gibbs, who had his rookie year at Joe Gibbs Racing. I'm giving him a B. Ty had 10 top 10s in his rookie year, which is the most since Eric Jones in 2017. And I saw enough out of Ty Gibbs. I think he is going to be a future star in this series. Then we have Tyler Reddick. I'm giving Tyler an A in his first year with 23XI Racing. He goes out and gives them their best season yet. And I believe there's more to come from Tyler. We saw him get multiple wins this year, and I think it just keeps building up from here. Then moving on to another rookie driver, Noah Gragson. I think this was the easiest grade to give out, and that is a F. No matter how the season ended, put all that controversy aside, this was a disastrous year for Gragson in his first full-time move to the Cup Series. Now we have Ryan Preece, who moved over to the 41 car in Stewart-Haas Racing. I'm giving him a D, but it doesn't really reflect the driver. This team, Stewart-Haas Racing, they had their worst year ever. And we did see flashes from Preece, especially at Martinsville. And I think the potential is still there. This team's just got to get it together for Preece to really go out and show what he can do. Now going on to the Xfinity Series, Chandler Smith and his rookie year with Kaulig Racing, I'm giving him a C. He started out strong. He won early, but then really became irrelevant the rest of the year. It just never felt like he could bounce back from where he was in the early part of the season. Now he does move on to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2024, which I think has the potential to be a much better sophomore year for Chandler Smith. I think he'll be up front more times than not with Joe Gibbs Racing. Now Jeb Burton in his first full-time year with Jordan Anderson Racing, I'm giving him a B simply because of giving this team their first win and a playoff appearance. However, for him to really solidify himself, I feel like in the Jordan Anderson Racing stable, he needs to go out and get more solid finishes in 2024. Now, Parker Kligerman, his first year in that 48 car, I'm giving him a B. He didn't win, but he proved his worth. He had 18 top 10s. He got a playoff berth. And with the season he had, I think the question needs to continue to be asked, why has Parker Kligerman been on the sidelines for so long? Now, going on to the Craftsman Truck Series, Nick Sanchez, I'm giving him an A as well. This was a strong rookie class in the Truck Series, and I think Nick Sanchez was simply the best. He had 5 poles, of quite a few near wins, and finished 8th place in points in his rookie year. Not too bad for a rookie in the Craftsman Truck Series. Then we have Chase Purdy. He was driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports, his first big opportunity in the sport. I'm giving him a B. He didn't win either, but he took advantage of his best opportunity. He had 11 top 10s and his highest average finish of his career. Next up is another fellow rookie driver, Rajah Caruth. I'm giving Rajah a C. The potential is there, and I just can't help but look at what could have been at Nashville when he looked so strong and was up there battling for the lead before he had a mechanical failure. The big question right now is, where does Rajah go in 2024 with GMS shutting their doors? He did get some starts in the Xfinity Series with teams like Hendrick and Alpha Prime. Could he make the move up there in the Xfinity Series? Time will tell. He has not announced his plans as of yet. Then there's another rookie driver, Jake Garcia. I'm giving him a B. He was very consistent, only 4 finishes outside the top 20. He does move to a championship team, Thor Sport, to replace Haley Deegan, and I think this gives him a good opportunity to continue his growth. And one more rookie to round out the Craftsman Truck Series, and that is Daniel Dye. I'm giving Daniel a D. He just was not a factor all season, only 1 top 10. He does move to BMR in 2024 to be teammates with Christian Eckes, so it's a pretty good team he's moving to. We'll see what he can do with that. And that'll wrap up season 2 of 3 Wide. As always, thank y'all for joining me and listening along. And thank y'all for joining me and watching and listening throughout the year. This has been a really good year. I wasn't able to make it to any races this year. Hopefully that will change in 2024. I got a few races I want to knock out on my calendar. But with that being said, I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas, as well as a Happy New Year. And we will see y'all in 2024. We'll do a 2024 preview sometime towards the end of January. Until then, y'all stay safe, and we'll see y'all next time.